Hello and welcome to this video. This will be likely the last installment of the tactics series. Reason being that the tactics are getting so tough that it's becoming nearly impossible to talk while trying to actually solve the tactics myself. So again, pause the video, try to find a solution yourself, and then try to see my thought process as well. So what's going on here? So as usual, let's check the checks, captures, and attacks. So material is about equal. We're a few pawns down. Okay, what do we have? Checks, queen f4, not really. Don't see any more checks. It's basically all the checks. Captures, what can we capture? The queen can capture the knight. The knight can capture the pawn, and that's basically it. Okay, I don't like either of these. I mean, we have some kind of continuation like knight c3 bc, but I do not really believe it. Plus he can take with the knight and go back to e2, so no checks and no capture basically. So the solution will likely be an attack or a threat of some kind. What can we attack? Well, let's start with the biggest pieces. The queen, rook to g8 attacks the queen, and if the queen moves randomly, I guess we can take g2, but that also doesn't really work. So rook g8, queen h4, can't take g2 because of checkmate here. So rook g8, queen h4, let's say. Well, there is rook g4, but okay, not really convincing. What else can we do? Threats. What else can we threaten? Can we threaten the rook? Well, this threatens the rook, but we've seen this. We can kind of threaten some kind of discovered checks with the knight. Maybe that has some kind of threat. Okay, let's say we play queen f2. Is there a threat? I guess there's a threat of knight d4, and then checkmate on c2. So okay, that seems like a pretty big threat. It is a checkmate threat, so this is one of the priorities. So queen f2, what's he doing? We also defend the knight, which is, it's not really attacked because queen f2 would be mate, but still. So queen f2. Now we have to find some kind of resource for white. So forcing moves for white. Queen e3 looks tempting to try to exchange queens. Can I do something there? Let's say knight d4. He will take the queen, I will take back. Now the king will have to go to e1 or c1. In either case, I don't really see anything. So after queen e3, I can't really move the knight anywhere. We can take the pawn, I guess, and continue threatening this checkmate. So what can he do there? Queen g2. He can't take the knight because of rook f2. That's important. So after queen f2, queen e3, I guess queen e3 isn't gonna work because of queen g2. There's no forcing moves here. Yeah, don't really see anything for white there. So after queen f2, so what is he going to do? He has to deal with this threat. Maybe I'm threatening something else as well. Don't really see it. Or any other discoveries. I think this is the main one. So queen f2. Well, c4 or something. I guess we'll pick up the rook at minimum. What can he do? I don't really see. I think queen f2 should be the answer. Yeah, queen e3, and here was planning queen takes g2, and in case he takes the knight, as mentioned, rook f2, and here we have won the queen. Okay, well done. Next one. Pause the video, try to figure it out yourself, and let's start calculating. So the position generally is lost for us as we're down a rook, 2 against 1, which means we will have to achieve quite a lot to not resign. Okay, what do we have? The obvious moves: rook h6, check. He can take with the rook or the queen. If he moves, I guess he can move as well, right? A lot of questions there. What else? So that's the only check. Any captures? Queen takes knight. Knight takes pawn. So basically two candidate moves is what I can see. Any threats? Can we threaten anything? Like, can't really attack h6. I mean, we can, I guess, go knight e7, but he will just take it with something. c4. So I think we only have two candidate moves. The queen, yeah, the queen can't really go anywhere effectively. Knight h6 looks interesting, so he cannot take with the rook as it's pinned. If he takes with the queen, we will take the queen. He has to take with the king. In that position we have a queen for two rooks and a knight, but if we continue, there's queen h4 with checkmate. So after knight h6 he cannot take with the queen, because then we will be up a lot of material. So knight h6 already looks like the correct solution, but let's try to figure out some kind of resources. So the immediate threat is, I guess, knight takes f7 with a discovery. King will have to go to g8, and queen takes g6 will end in checkmate. So knight h6 has a huge threat. So what's going on? Knight h6, forcing moves for black, checks. No, he can't move the rook, so there's no checks for black. Captures for black, rook takes e5, but then I think we still give this check on f7. Otherwise, captures, knight takes f6. Knight takes f6 looks interesting. What do we do there? Now with knight f7, king g7. Don't really see it. So knight h6, knight f6, I guess is the critical line. Where can we go? I think we have to give some kind of discovery check. We can't take the knight as this seems to hang. So knight h6, knight f6, maybe knight g4. Yeah, if king g8, then knight takes f6, and if rook f6, queen h7 is checkmate. Otherwise, knight h6, knight f6, knight g4. So he can't go to g8, so king g7. We could now take with check. Maybe then he will return with the king there. And that's not entirely convincing somehow. So knight h6, knight f6, knight g4 here, right? So maybe just knight f6 there. The point being, if he takes, then queen h7. Otherwise, if he doesn't take, I'm threatening rook h7 mate. He can't really stop it, I don't think. Yeah, this seems correct. So okay, let's go here. Yeah, knight f6, as mentioned, was the critical line. Had to look for resources for the opponent. Now I'm pretty sure it's knight g4, right? And yeah, the point is, if he goes here, then we will take here. And if this, then this is checkmate. This is also checkmate. What else? If king g7, yeah, I guess this is winning as well somehow. Yeah, knight e5, I guess is winning. Didn't really see this. But also knight f6 is good enough. It's threatening the rook, threatening checkmate, and if he takes, then this is checkmate. Okay, pretty good so far. What's going on? Pause the video, checks, captures, and attacks. And okay, let's figure this out. So generally, we're down in exchange. Not great. Checks, no checks, captures. Just one capture, right? Nothing else. Black is kind of threatening some kind of discovered checks. Okay, attacks. Let's attack the queen. Knight b7 seems like a fork. And once we take this rook, we will also take the knight. So the threat is clear. So what can black do after knight b7? So if he just moves the queen and we take the rook and he takes back, for the moment we won't be really winning, but then we will take the knight and then we will be winning. So after knight b7, what is he doing? Checks, captures, and attacks. Knight can give some kind of check. So for example, knight f4. I don't think we want to capture the knight, because after rook takes d2, this will be an unpleasant check, and generally the king is getting opened up. So after knight f4, well, we have to take, right? Because if queen f4, then that doesn't really make much sense. So knight f4 is the main line probably. We can of course move the king somewhere, For example, knight b7, knight f4, king f1. Now these three pieces are attacked, and I guess that is kind of winning, but not entirely convinced yet. Yeah, maybe it's not entirely winning, because knight f4, king f1, queen g5, threatening checkmate in a few moves. Yeah, I'm not really much of a fan there. So maybe queen h4 is even better. Either way, I don't really like it, but I'll look at it more if we have to. But can I just take? That's the kind of question. Rook d2, king f1. No, but then there's rook d1 as well. And even there, it's not entirely clear. So knight f4 is kind of annoying. Is there anything else I'm missing apart from knight b7? Not really. And so we have to calculate knight f4. Okay, let's try to understand king f1, I'm assuming, because d1 will drop the bishop with check, and e1 will allow knight d3. Maybe knight d3 is not that important, but it seems scary. So knight b7 here, and then the candidates are either to take or to move the king to f1, I guess. Let's try to take. Then he takes here, king f1. Now the queen and the bishop is attacked. Also queen f7 is kind of a threat, but no, I'm not really convinced. Not really. So king f1, I guess, should be played, and then let's check if we're not getting checkmated. So if queen g5, then I think we can take here, right? And I think he will lose a lot of pieces there. Also, there's some queen f7 business with taking the rook as well. Bishop b1 at some point. So knight b7, knight f4, king f1, queen h4, threatening this. So then maybe that's not that huge of a threat, because after king e1 there won't be that many checks. So I'm pretty sure this is the correct solution. We'll go king f1. But again, if we take, then rook d2. Okay, let's go. Yeah, let's go to f1. This is correct. Yeah, queen d7, this is similar to queen h4, but I wasn't entirely convinced by this, because now I think we take, he will, well, he can give a check first, I guess. But the point is, even if he gives a few checks, there's not really much happening there. Yeah, he takes back. Now I think we should just take the knight, right? There's only one check now, because king g1 will be available, right? So pretty tough one. What I was looking at was this, for example. Yeah, there's queen f7, but there's also this. Mainly, I think I was planning this somehow. Yeah, I mean, this also works, though it is kind of scary. But okay, next, pause your video, find out the solution yourself. And okay, let's get calculating. So a pretty interesting position we have here. There are some big threats. Material is hard to count, but let's try anyway. Well, it's actually about equal, though we are completely undeveloped. Generally, I would suggest not playing like this, like what white did here. This should never happen in your games. But okay, checks, captures, attacks. Check and a capture here. Check and a capture here. Check and a capture here. Check here. So for plenty of checks. So okay, the most obvious is to take a rook with check. What's the opponent doing? It's either bishop c8 or king d7. Okay, I'm not sure about any of those. Okay, what if I take here first? Or take here. King d8, I guess. Because if king f8, then I guess I'll take. He'll go bishop c8. And then actually I can't really play something like d7 because queen b4 is an issue. Okay, well, this is a bit confusing. There's a lot of candidate moves. Okay, how about queen c6? King f8 or d8 or bishop d7. Bishop d7, we have to take the rook, and this is kind of the same position after bishop c8. So I think it's either taking here or taking here. Okay, let's try this again. So for the moment we're up a rook, but our king is in some danger. So queen takes a8. So what if he goes here? Don't really see the follow-up somehow. I mean, I guess I can take on b5. He will go f8, I guess. Maybe we should just take some material and then somehow save our king, like a3 or something, to just put it on a2. That might be a solution. But okay, how does this work? Bishop d7, I mean bishop b5. So firstly he can't go bishop d7 because this will be checkmate. So bishop b5, king f8, take, bishop c8, and then we are up a lot of material. I mean, we can't just take the knight as well, right? We're getting all of black's pieces there, I think. What is black going to do there? There are some kind of checks. Queen e6. I mean, I guess I can just play c4 or something. So I'm a bit confused with this one. But okay, I think we should take here. You can play c6, but I think this isn't great for black. Seems similar. Is there even a difference? Very confusing. Okay, queen a8. The difference is that king d7 and then bishop b5. I mean, maybe he's running away or something. Again, I'm having trouble here. Queen a8, king d7, bishop b5, let's see. Alright, he can go to d6, I guess. Yeah, maybe that's not entirely clear. So okay, let's instead take on b5 first. If he goes here, or f8 I mean, and then take the knight, and then we're up a bunch of material. We just have to not get checkmated, but I think when only the queen is attacking, this shouldn't end in checkmate. So I'm pretty sure this is the right solution. Yeah, take one piece, take another piece, and here I'm pretty sure we should go here. Problem is, if here, then queen b4 is checkmate, and this eliminates one of the attackers, and I can only see a few checks. There's not really enough. So let's take, yeah. So a very strange puzzle there, but we have persevered. Okay, let's do one more. Checks, captures, and attacks. Pause the video, figure it out. So what's going on here? So interesting middle game position. Material is about equal, and our bishop is attacked. What can we do about all of this? Pawn count, it's equal. Okay, so checks, there's no checks. Captures, take. We can't take like this, I assume. Can we? Like bishop d1, knight c6, but no, not really. Okay, so there's two captures. I mean, there's four captures, three captures. I mean, attacks. What can we attack? I mean, we can attack a knight or a bishop, but our minor piece is already attacked. So I think it's either this, or this. So there's not really much else to attack. So bishop e5. Let's say this seems incorrect somehow. I mean, I guess he can just start trading stuff. There's too many variations to look at it. I don't think white is winning. Knight d5, what's going on with knight d5? I guess he will take our bishop. Not entirely convincing either. Can we take with the pawn? Seems like something. Threatening e6 to win the exchange or something. I'm not entirely convinced it's such a big threat, but sure. Okay, let's see, knight c5. He can attack our bishop. Yeah, somehow I don't really like any of this. I think I'm missing something. What can we do? Is it really like knight e5 somehow? Like queen, bishop d1, knight c6 attacking the queen. I mean, we have one pawn, right? And d5 is also hanging. I guess queen e8 should be played. So at that point, We have a knight for a queen. We can take the thing on d1. I mean, we can actually take with check. I mean, we don't have to. We can go something like rook e1, I guess, like bishop d1, knight c6, queen e8 is the only square. Rook e1, threatening to take here and then give a discover check to take the queen, I guess. Maybe that's pretty decent. Here, rook e1. Don't really see how black should defend there. Very strange solution. Maybe this is the case. So knight e5. So what if he doesn't take the queen? What can he do? And if he takes here, I'm just taking the bishop. And he's pinned in a variety of ways. So knight e5 seems correct somehow, sacrificing the queen for a few moves. Knight c6. Threat being to take here and I guess win a pawn. We're also having this nice passed pawn here actually. So maybe winning a pawn would be enough here, as the position would be winning in such a case. So knight e5. Let's recheck this. This is of course hard to believe, but such chess is difficult, as we know. So bishop d1, knight c6, queen e8. And at that point we can also take the rook, of course, but I don't really want to take the rook. Rook e1, ignoring the bishop on d1. So the threat is to leave ourselves with a piece advantage after knight e7, giving up the knight, but no, we're actually losing a lot of material. Maybe the threat is to take with the rook to trap the queen. Okay, is there nothing more simple? Queen e8. I'm not sure what exactly we should play in that position. I assume it's not rook e1. Rook e1 looks a bit strange. Okay, let's think about candidate moves there. After queen e8, rook e1. Not a big fan of rook e1, but it might be good. What else? So if bishop b8 or something, then knight b8. Or bishop or knight b8, knight b8. The bishop here is attacked, so we're kind of losing time. I mean, just recapturing the bishop, I guess, is possible. We are going to get an exchange back, most likely. And it's a very strange position. Maybe that is just winning, as black is kind of paralyzed. Okay, either way, I think this is the correct solution. Yeah, and he just asked me to, he doesn't even ask me what I'm doing in that case. Okay, I'm just taking this knight and this is winning. So a pretty interesting one. So if here, then yeah, knight c6, of course, queen e8. And at this point, okay, the engine is saying any move is winning. We can take the knight, the bishop. This is just kind of winning because the big threat is rook e1. Also, there are threats of just taking the rook. Their pawn might become important at some point. And even rook e1 is winning, apparently. I was thinking that... what was I thinking? Like here... Yeah, here I think just white is dominating positionally. Maybe this is quite enough. So pretty fun exercise there. Had to just give up the queen for a few pieces and understand that the ensuing position is winning. So okay, hopefully this was useful. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe and see you next time.